Hello everybody, my name's Kanamanika, and welcome back to the overview, where today we are back with a Master Grade model kit, and one that I've been meaning to build for a while, but has just been sitting in my backlog. You can actually know how long it's been, because I made a very shitty video about it. But today we're going to right that wrong, because today we are taking a look at the Master Grade Gundam Seed Gundam Astray Red Frame Kai. Yeah, that's what we're overviewing today. I'm really excited. I really like the Astray Red Frame. Uh, it's just one of those designs that's really cool. I mean, like, you gotta love a giant robot with a pair of katanas. But the Red Frame is one of the model kits that I have, like, a bit of a nostalgic connection to. It was, like, my second model kit ever, the real grade version. Second Gunpla. I technically did some Dragon Ball kits as well. But yeah, I love the Astray, especially the Red Frame, and I really wanted to have a Master Grade version of it because I really like Master Grade. So now we are here. This is the most readily available Master Grade of the Red Frame. There are other ones, and I would have preferred if it was the more basic Red Frame rather than the Red Frame Kai, because I like that a little more, but this is close enough, and I'll live. But anyways, Red Frame Kai, this is a mass release figure, so you shouldn't have too many issues getting your hands on it if you are so interested. Looking at the front of the box, it is very big, but it is a fairly standard, fairly standard Master Grade style box. You have an amazing piece of artwork of the mobile suit here, right at the front, wearing its backpack, ready for combat or whatever. It is the Gundam Astray Red Frame Kai, and its low Gwell's whatever mobile suit. In the background, there's a bunch of other bits of arty stuff or whatever. There's like a space colony that's been like dismantled or whatever. You've got the Astray Blue Frame D if you want to pick up that. There's also like drawn versions of like a Matsumina style mobile suits, which do not exist unfortunately, which kind of pissed me off because I really like the gold frame of Matsumina. But yeah, Bandai Namco, Master Grade, Gundam Seed. There's a Gundam Seed Destiny logo there. Blue, because this is a reissue, but this kit is originally from 2010, 1 year later than last video's Gundam Exia. So we will see if that 1 year of development really makes a difference. Anyways, the top and the bottom have the same bit of box art. It has the name far more prominently, the Gundam Stray Red Frame, Logwell's customized mobile suit MBF PO2 Kai. Gundam Seed, the other side is also the same here. Then, on these sides, we get different artwork, or promotional images. We have the front and rear view of the Astray Red Frame Kai and its Tactical Arms 2LV form. Information on Gundam Seed versus Astray, I guess. The fact that it has pilot figures, the fact that it comes with some markings, which you can apply yourself. It comes with a red stand that you can apply to the mobile suit, especially for when it's in flight mode. This is it in flight mode. It shows the leg and the shoulder articulation, I guess, as like gimmicks. On the other side, we have an image focusing on the Tactical Arms 2L in sword mode and bow mode. An image of the Astray Red Frame in versus Astray or whatever, as well as a promotional image of just the Red Frame with its swords on its hilts, as well as showing that it comes with 2 chrome silver swords. So, that's the box, but what you care about is the mobile suit itself, so I'm going to go get that built and see how it goes. I'll see you in a second. And we're back, and I kind of delayed recording this because I got weird and tired and depressed and had some dental appointments to go to. Anyways, we're back here. We've got the Gundam Astray Red frame all built up, and it was a pretty fun build, all things considered. In comparison to last time, especially, where I built the Exia, which, while it certainly wasn't a bad build, I had a great time. This one was a lot more complex and like built out, and I honestly had a bit more fun with it. I mean, it is a slightly older kit and or a slightly newer kit in comparison to the Exia, and as such there's probably more development time put into it, and it's also a little bit more expensive, so I would kind of hope for that, but it did feel very fun to build. There was a lot of just nice mechanisms that we'll go into when we look at the main mobile suit that really show the skills behind these, I guess, figure creators. But first, we kind of need to go through the accessories, which kind of feel light given the price, but that's because so much of it goes into one accessory. To start off, since this is a master grade, we get a pilot figure. This is Lo Guel, the main guy from Astrays. He's got some nice spiky hair, and he's sculpted fairly nicely. He's obviously just a plain white little guy, so I don't really expect too much from it, but it's always nice to have to be able to display with your figures if you so choose. You get two of these short beams as well. These are meant for like blasting, essentially. They're small, they're thin, they're yellow. They're nothing to write home about, but especially since he doesn't really have any beam sabers, these are only really for one thing in particular. He also comes with this. This is a display port. I don't think he actually is able to use it, but he has it. Sure. But the reason I say that is because he comes with an actual display base. You have to build this up. It's a little awkward because this, at least since I haven't been able to properly tighten the screw, is really floppy and is essentially reliant on lying onto this support. This one's nice and tight, though. So I probably need to tighten this with like an actual screwdriver. It uses actual screws, though I just kind of screwed them in by hand because I was lazy and didn't want to bring out a screwdriver at the time I was building it. And obviously I'm still being lazy because I'm recording this like a week after I finished it. Anyhow, yeah, we get a red stand. It's nice that it includes it because it kind of needs it for some of the accessories that we'll get to. Because this set includes 3 swords. First off, what I'll talk about is the 2 katanas. I'm only showing off one here because I have the other attached to the figure itself. But he comes with 2 katanas, essentially identical, just flipped, and with some little text in this little slot, like some Japanese kanji. You can kind of see it glaring. That determines which sword it is. I believe this one is the tiger, whatever the fuck. Because it goes into the left hand and goes on the right side. The usual one that goes into the right hand is the Gerbera straight. But yeah, you build up a nice little sheath. I kind of wish these golds looked a little bit nicer, the ones on the sword. I do have a Gundam marker that I can paint it with. But it is nicely part separated, and the sheath, the connector part doesn't get too far in the way, even if I do think it connects a little bit low. But the sword is able to come out of the sheath. As you can tell, despite my fingerprints, it is a nice, shiny chrome color. Which I really appreciate. I kind of wish the Exia, the base mode, came with... don't want to touch the chrome. Give me a second. I'm going to wipe it off on my shirt. Wipe off the fingerprints. Because this will be a fingerprint magnet. Yeah, they come on the out the box like this. But it does look very nice. As you can see, it's kind of looking a little black, but it's a nice shiny chrome. And it's able to fit fairly nicely into the sheath. It's not too tight, so while it kind of falls out, but that means it won't scratch up too much. However, the big deal that makes this the Red Frame Kai is this. This is a knife-sized, kind of fucking massive fucking sword. It has a transformation feature because it can be a sword, it can be this delta-shaped backpack, it can be like a flight pack, it can be a like bow and arrow sort of dealio, and this takes up a lot of build time, which is a little annoying since it's so repetitive. It's essentially a parallel build, so it can get really repetitive building up these 2 sides of the blade, especially. But the end product is very nice. It can't really hold it all that well from my experience because it's just so heavy, but that's what the stand's for. The stand's primarily for this. You can port the stand into this hole, and it will hold up the sword perfectly fine. You can also do it into this hole, I believe, depending on which hole you want to do, and it can also plug into the normal model's back. But I didn't really buy it for the Kai mode. I could take or leave a big sword, especially since it's hard for the figure to hold without a stand. Thankfully, it does come with a stand, which does kind of alleviate that issue, but I'm mainly here because I love the red frame so much. So, let's take a look at the Master Grade red frame. Don't mind that. Here it is, in all of its wonderful model kit glory. And man, is this a nice looking model kit. Picking up what fell on the ground. So my hair is potentially in the frame, and there we go. There we go. Fixed it. Anyhow, this is a wonderful fucking kit. I love it so much. It's very much obviously 2010s EU Master Grade-y. There are some areas where that's obvious, mainly in how brickish the torso is, articulation-wise, but god damn is this exquisite. First off, the inner frame is a lot better than the Exia's. I mean, I get it. A lot of what's exposed on the red frame is inner frame. But there is a lot of red here that isn't inner frame, that didn't really need to be detailed, but they just chose to detail so much of the inner frame, and you can't really see it here, but it's just so nice and pretty and well done that it really was a joy to build. Also, the color scheme is just very nice and clean. The grays in the torso, as well as in the bottom of the feet, that mostly give way to the reds and the whites. They're just such a nice, striking color contrast. The head is also really cool. I find that the V-fin is a bit finicky, and it makes me worried that it'll break easily, so just be careful. Make sure it doesn't fall over, or just glue it in place. But it at least stays in, which is nice. And I do really like how the head camera is kind of like a sticker behind a clear part, which allows it to shine a lot more naturally and allows you to take advantage of the fact that it is under a clear part. It feels very nice. But yeah, the head does look good. Obviously, there's a ton of nice agreeable details, but it doesn't go too far into feeling super inaccurate to the original manga. He does feel a little thin from what I've seen, but I do like the general aesthetic of this MS. There's enough panel lines for you to really have a good time if you so choose. But it isn't so hyper detailed that it feels out of place for what it is. My biggest complaint is probably this backpack. It's essentially just this panel because you're meant to attach the Kai bits to it. It is easy enough to remove, but that means he just doesn't have a backpack. I kind of wish he also included the basic Astray red frame backpack that you see on the real grade. That's the kit that kind of made me fall in love with the red frame. And it is a little disappointing that it isn't there. Yeah, just so much nice mechanical detail, and you can see it's kind of got some nice shifting armor plates as well, which we will get to here with the articulation. So, starting off, the head is on a ball joint sort of hinge dealio. I believe it's a ball joint up here, ball joint down here, and there's a little bit of also a hinge via the polycap in the top of the head, which allows it to look up decently far, look down decently far, have some side to side, though not a ton, and I'm being a little bit careful because of the V-fin, and you can go back and forth. Sorry if that's a little crazy in the way. Shoulders are very weird because they're somewhat similar to the, I need to remember the title. It's kind of similar to Zoro, the SHF Romance Dawn Zoro, where it's got trigger-happy shoulders and also normal shoulders. So the shoulder pads don't really move much. There's a little bit of wiggle, but they kind of stop themselves. But that's because in moving them up, you're moving up the rest of the shoulder. There's the shoulder assembly, which, while it's also able to get some pretty darn decent butterflies for a model kit, as you can see, he's able to move his shoulders forward fairly nicely. It also has a lot of upward, which requires you to activate the upward inside the shoulder first. So he's able to get his shoulders up very far, which is very nice for a sword-wielding character. It's also able to have your full rotation here at the shoulder, which is nice. There's a bicep swivel, as you expect. There's also a double-jointed elbow, but, as you will hopefully notice as I bend it, there's some shifting armor. This little part shifts around. It's a little loose, but it works fine. And then you have very similar hands to the Exia. They stay on a little bit better. Maybe I just got used to it better. Maybe it's just because the wrists are a little bit less impeded. It still has a hard time moving forward and backward, but there is a hinge there. But you're mostly going to be taking advantage of the ball joint. And then you have a ball joint at the thumb, ball joint at the finger, and ball joint that attaches these 3 fingers into a hinge that you can theoretically separate the 3 fingers into because it's 3 ball joints. But that's more hassle than it's worth. Also, as a side note, since the sword is nice and small, it holds the hands hold the sword relatively well. It's been able to stay in, obviously. If you touch it a little bit awkwardly, the sword will fall out, so do be careful when using that. We'll move that out of the way for the sake of articulation. The torso, obviously, as I mentioned before, is the most disappointing part of articulation. There's like a ball joint down here and some hinging up in the torso, but you're basically just using a little bit of side to side here at the upper torso, and then using the ball joint. It's a little disappointing, especially since he's a sword-wielding character, and I would hope you could get more, but for crunches, you're mostly going to be using the legs. But thankfully, the legs do work fairly well. There's this very somewhat complicated like assemblage where the back skirt does move out of the way, though not a ton. And then there's a ball joint that connects onto like a strut that connects that has ball joints that connect the front and side skirts. Though the front and side skirt are so small, they're not really going to get in the way anyways. It's mostly to get this whole assemblage in and out of the way, however you so please. The legs are in your usual swivel hinge, so it's able to kick forward that far, which is very nice and impressive, and I'm sure you can use to help aid your crunches. Is able to move back that far, though is limited by the back hinge, and is able to hinge outward. Be careful, a bit's falling off, but that was just me knocking it. That wasn't the leg, I don't think. Give me a sec, let me pop this back on into its proper orientation. It gets a little in the way and then it might pop off, but you're able to kick that far, though it will pop off. So I'm sure you saw the point where it did pop off, and you can shift this around as needed. There's a thigh swivel, though since it is ingrained into the thigh, it's pretty limited. It gets a little bit less limited as you move the thigh out, but keep that in mind. Then you get a double knee, which is very impressive because it also integrates some very nice shifting panels. So it hinges like that, and then you continue the bend that shifts this front panel of armor down as well. And while it doesn't get a full 180-degree bend, it gets fucking more than enough. And it includes that nice shifting gimmick, so I'm willing to compromise for that. It looks so good while moving. I love this damn thing. It's nice and mechanical, and it's part of why I love Master Grades, being able to see it move like this. Also, as a side note, I don't think there's any shifting hips. The only shifting that kind of sort of happens is the fact that the hips are kind of angled. The peg is somewhat angled forward, so yeah, it moves forward better than it does backward. Anyhow, there's also this little shifting bit of armor that just kind of moves naturally. Onto the ankles, there's a ball joint up here, a ball joint down here, but there's also some pivoting as well in the lower ankle. So overall, you're able to get about that much pivot, as you can see, and that much outward, which is very nice. You're able to also get a decent amount forward, decent amount backward, and there's sort of a toe bend, though it's more of a front of foot bend. Anyhow, but yeah, I love this kit, and I really want to do some extra work on it. I want to use the stickers and dry transfers on the shoulder pads because I really like those. I want to chrome up the gold. I want to figure out ways to pose it with the sword more reliably, the big sword. But yeah, I'm really happy with this kit, and despite it being very expensive for a red frame, I do recommend it. And there's also just a ton of other red frame kits that are Astray kits that are based on this red frame. So from what I can tell, most of those are pretty good. Some of them do overcomplicate it and add a little bit too much armor and make it feel a little bit hard to hold. So keep that in mind, but the Master Grade red frame is a wonderful base, as I'm sure many people in the past have already told you. Again, this is like a 15-year-old kit, but it feels so good as an action figure, and I really recommend it. And it really shows just kind of how top-of-the-line Bandai's model kit engineers are, that they're able to make figures that are like on the level of like high-end import action figures that you build and are also just nice and like well sized. I need like a size comparison guy. I guess I'll bring over Izuku. But yeah, he's a little crouched down, but you can see he's rather large. This is a nice like 7, 8, 9 inch figure, you know? I wouldn't say 7, I'd say 8. 8 inches. 8 inches is about the scale of your average master grade, if you're not thinking about the usual 1/100 scale whatever. And I'm sure there are other like mobile suits that break that scale. Like I'm pretty sure like Wing and like your general 90s MSs are a tad smaller from what I've seen, and then like there are of course big mobile suits that are master grades like the Sazabi. But generally you're thinking about 7-inch scale and then working around there. So they feel nice and good. They feel very bionically. And yeah, long story short, I recommend the Astray Red Frame. It's a very good mobile suit and shows just what master grade can do above even like full mechanics, which we saw before, which was good, but this just feels so much more premium. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope it worked out for you. If you enjoyed it, do let me know. I'll probably be making more model kit content, as I do have a bit of a backlog that I want to go through, and there's also a lot of other model kits that I'm just generally interested in and want to try building in my own free time. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to go on that journey together. So, until next time, I hope I'll see you there. Bye-bye!